And I'm Angie, and today on the Food Hero Cooking Show, we are making pear quesadillas. Aislinn, let's go get our hands washed so that we can get started.
Food Hero is fun. Yeah.
Okay, so today we're making pear quesadillas, and this one's a little bit unusual. We're actually going to combine savory and sweet today, so it's going to hit all of those taste elements. This is one I make in class, and people are often surprised that they like it. So pear quesadillas, what we actually have today, we're going to put a little bit of sweet onion in there. We're going to put some diced sweet bell pepper in there, some pear, and then of course cheese, and then our whole grain tortillas. Now of course when we dice this up, one of the things we want to do is get to flat surfaces as quickly as possible. So I'm just going to cut the crown off. Okay. I'm going to set that, and then usually the stem just pops out easily. And Aislinn, I'm going to pass that to you so you can throw it in our garbage bowl. So you can see, then we can dice this up so we're not wasting anything. So we'll dice that in a minute. And then you're just going to cut down each side here. Okay. Cut down all four sides. And then that way we'll be able to clear our seeds right out. Turn it over. Cut the bottom off. And then there's a big chunk for our chickens. Can you throw that in the garbage bowl too? All right, and then from there, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish dicing this up. The best way to do it, and I'll stack these over here, is actually to make thin slices. Okay, thin slices going this way, and then you can flip it around and do a dice. The other thing that you can do, and I'll just give Aislinn one of these slices is, once you have them in those nice thin slices like this, your kids can take either a safety knife or even a butter knife. If they're older, they can use a larger knife and just dice that up into tiny pieces. So Aislinn's going to work on that. Practice her sawing motion. Good job, Ace. That looks good. Really good.
Give them more of that good stuff. Recipes that kids.
And then we've got enough pepper here. We're going to go ahead and get started because Aislinn's anxious to get started on her pear quesadillas. So what I'm going to let you do, Aislinn, is I'm going to let you go ahead and grab a whole wheat tortilla, and you can start building it. So the way you're going to want to build it, because we're going to fold it over. So we're going to put all of your toppings on one side so that we can fold it over. Okay? Now today you can use fresh pears or you can use canned pears. Today we just use canned pears. They're nice and soft. We dice them up. You do want to make sure they're drained really well, and maybe just kind of pat them with a paper towel before you do this, just to make sure that your quesadilla sticks together. You don't want them to be too wet. So she's going to put all the ingredients on there and build hers. Now today, we're going to make this on a griddle, but I do want to point out, you can actually make it in a pan on your stove. And while we're talking about pans on the stove, hang on, Aislinn, if you want. A lot of times what I do too with this recipe is I'll take and I'll saute the peppers and the onions in just a little bit of oil, and that really softens and sweetens them up. And so sometimes kids might like it that way a little bit better. I actually like it that way because when you're adding heat to onions and peppers, you know, you're caramelizing them and making them even sweeter than they are. So I really enjoy that flavor. So that's something you can do here. But you can also make your quesadilla in a pan like this. And there's one more way you can make a quesadilla. And this is typically what I do if I have a large group and I even have a larger sheet pan. You can put parchment paper down or not. And I'll make several at once. 400 degrees in your oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. And that'll get them nice and crispy, and then you can make several at one time. So this recipe has lots of options for how you want to prepare it. Alrighty, so let me set this back down over here. And then we're going to get yours on the griddle. So the griddle is hot, so I'm going to set it on there for you. All right, it is hot, and we're going to let that start cooking. Okay, so about 2 to 4 minutes on each side, and it should be ready to turn. Now this is really hot, but Aislinn does like to do this herself, so I'm going to let her go ahead and turn it. And remember, if you push it up against a side, it makes it easier to turn. Okay, do a quick flip. Good job. It's starting to get brown there. That looks very good.
Perfect.
That is a quick, tasty meal for you. And I encourage you to experiment with that pear quesadilla. You can add some spinach to it. You could add some black beans to it. Just kind of go crazy. The other substitution you can make if you don't have pears, another thing that's really nice in there is apples as well. So Don't be afraid to mix up different combinations. I know we actually like to eat this with some guacamole. Makes it really good to dip into. All right, so Aislinn and I are going to sign off for today. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Food here always fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah.